Hello and welcome to the CNBC TV 18 Investment Guide, the brand new show, a series that we have kickstarted where we are going to help you, partner you in your investment journey by bringing you a wealth of wisdom and learnings from some of the biggest veterans in the Indian stock market. I'm Surabhi Upadhyay, and with me is Anuj Singhal. Anuj, so our second episode, second week, I guess we had a very interesting conversation with Ramdev last time around. What are your thoughts on this new show so far?
Well, it's sort of very exciting, and there are times when you think that what new should you do? And I think this really show has been something which has taught me something new. Of course, talking to all these people and trying to get a wealth of information, preparing for this show, Surabhi, that itself, gives you a lot of information and a lot of knowledge. So I think we're trying to, of course, share all of that. And just the point I made last time as well. While there's been a lot of retail equity cult in the markets, a lot of this money is not chasing it just for 5%, 10%, pop-up return. Yeah. They are looking at creating some serious wealth in stock market, and that's why we are getting someone who has created serious wealth. You've heard about multi-bagger stocks. What about multi-bagger funds? Madhu Kela, our guest today, market veteran, has of course done that in the past when he took his fund's NAV multiple times over a 10-year or 12-year period. Madhu, good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's always good to have you on CNBC TV 18.
Good afternoon, Anuj. Always a pleasure talking to you. It's always a delight to be on the show.
Okay, so Madhu, since this show is essentially a masterclass, I wanted you to give some thoughts on your own journey and what would be the big lesson for the first-time investor?
Sure. So, Anuj, for me, stock market was essentially love at first sight. Way back in my hostel days, I will narrate incidents how I got introduced to stock market. So I was staying in a government college hostel, and this was in 1988-89. And someone, that time market used to be from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So someone made a call, and I was standing beside the booth, and I heard him screaming that I made 5,000 rupees. Trust me, I couldn't sleep the whole night. How can you make a call and make a 5,000 rupees? Because in my village, my father had to struggle for the whole month to make 5,000 rupees. Next day, I was right there at 11:45, that someone will come again. And again, people came and made those calls. And everyone said, and that was the rara days of Harshad Mehta time. Stock market was in a really bullish phase. Then I was so intrigued that after that, trust me, I never looked back. I was very clear, very determined that this is the career which I want for myself. This is the future which I want for myself. And since then, I've been pursuing the same thing for last 30 years.
Oh, yes. You've come such a long way. And, so many of us have directly or indirectly been part of your journey, because when you were at, what was earlier called Reliance Mutual Fund, so many of us would have indirectly had you as our money manager in any case, Madhu. So I want to, talk about the whole new breed of investors that's coming into the market now, because we are in this pandemic, people had time, work from home, etc. Now, what is the first thing that you would tell them? When you look at market cycles and you start looking at direct equity as an avenue, where should one begin?
So, Surabhi, this is a very skillful job. So let me tell you, it is not for any immature to think that, someone will give me a tip and I will just read some balance sheet carefully and will be able to make money. I think it's a very skillful job. It requires years and years of commitment and experience. And I'm not saying that you need to be someone special to do it, but you have to have first the commitment. And second thing is, this is not a job, this is a passion, this is love, this is addiction. Basically, anyone you've seen who's very, very successful in the stock market, he never thinks that my life starts at 9 o'clock in the morning and ends at 6 o'clock in the evening. Exactly. It is basically all the time. In a way, you're working. Third thing is that, if you want to do direct equity, just think that it is going to take time. It is never going to, and you are going to be intrigued by the markets. As in the English language, sometimes BUT is but and PUT is put. That market will tell you on an everyday basis that it is never but and put. It is always intriguing. So what I'm saying is, you have to have real commitment. You have to have the urge and the passion to learn this market. You have to be able to put enormous amount of hard work, and you have to have that, English में जिसको बोलते हैं ना, जिज्ञासा, that thing, that it has to be there in your veins for the markets.
Fair enough. Madhu, now let's discuss some topics that we thought would be interesting to discuss. First is how to identify big market sizes. Now, of course, we'll look at anecdotes like Amazon and perhaps Kotak and the kind of returns that they generated. So tell us, looking at these examples, what's the way to identify the companies which can grow big in sizes, or can go 100, 200, 1,000 times in size?
So Anuj, Surabhi was asking me about my learning. See, even though it has been so many years, I'm yet to digest and comprehend how big the opportunity in the market can be at times. That, it is so impossible to comprehend that you took name of Kotak Mahindra Bank. Can you get that not long ago in my own existing career, when it was really thriving and I was 10 years deep inside the market, Kotak Mahindra Bank's market cap was less than 100 crores. And now it is what, 3 lakh crores, 2,75,000 crores? Not long ago, it's only 15, 17, 18 years, right? Similarly, Amazon, when it went for an IPO, actually there was a crash of 96% in Amazon stock price, and the market cap had fallen to less than $1 billion in 2001, and now it went to $1.8 trillion. So before you say how to identify, first of all, you have to be able to comprehend that this is the size of the opportunity, this is the size of excitement which we are talking about. So the second point, Anuj, is that, this does not come every day. It may not come every week. It may not come every year. Everyone gets it once in a life, once in a few times in life, that, you are able to catch a really big idea, and so at that point of time, you have to make the most out of it. Now, is there a fixed formula to identify these multi-baggers? Is there a fixed formula? If there's anyone who tells me that he could see Amazon going to $1.8 trillion, I can tell you he must be lying. Or similarly for Kotak Bank. So the thing is, when you identify a real stock and when you think it's a real winner, the question is, how much effort have you put? See, you can borrow ideas, Anuj. You cannot borrow conviction. And your conviction in all these large ideas gets tested over a period of time, because Amazon will not go from $1 billion to $1.8 trillion. In many a times in the journey of 20 years, it will fall 30, 40, 50, 60%. And that is the time you have to have the conviction in your homework, which you have done, that yes, I have done my homework and this is a real big winner for me. Now, just coming back, some of the characteristics which I have used to identify these companies: A, you look at the size of the opportunity. That is most important. What is the size of the opportunity in which this company is playing? Second, I have played a disproportionate importance to the leader and the management team, which is going to build this business. Third thing, which you look at, what is the competitive advantage, or in more sophisticated language we call it a moat. So what is the competitive advantage which the company is bringing on the table to build this business? And then there are plethoras of financial statistics which you'll use. Someone will use A, B, C, D. I use free cash flow. I use ROE. And I use essential, how cheap the stock is. And finally, at the end of the day, Anuj, it is all about valuation. That,
Right.
Let me just give you an example. All of this was available in Infosys in 2001. Only thing which was not available was the price. So if you have everything else, but price is not by your side, you know you can do whatever analysis which you want to, but you will not make outsized returns.
Sure. You know, Madhu, you've already started answering a lot of the questions that our viewers are putting. And by the way, viewers, when we take a break, you will find a glossary of terms as well. Some of the very important metrics that Madhu mentioned, ROE, free cash flow. These are the clean nuggets that he looks for when he's analyzing a business. Now, Saurabh Joshi is asking this question, Madhu. He's saying, as an aspiring value investor, I want to know, what does understanding a business mean, understanding financial ratios? And then he goes on to say, what are the key aspects which make a stock undervalued? Your thoughts on value investing and whether it's an approach that you personally like.
See, Surbhi, again, these are cycles of the market. What I have realized, and I very proudly call myself an opportunistic investor, because I didn't read too many books before coming to the stock market, and I think that has helped me a lot. So my thought process was always that I'm here to learn every day. And if you'll ask me how much percentage of the markets I've learned in last 30 years, that the percentage is in single digit. So I think there is still a long way for me to go in that sense. But what I'm saying is that, value investing also works, growth investing also works, momentum investing also works. The question is what phase of the market you are in. So value is something which will tell you that, you should be attracted to analyze more of the stock. But you should never get trapped in value, because I have seen so many people getting really trapped in value. Arey, ye to itna mein sasta hai. You never know kitna sasta ho sakta hai. And markets have proven, again, with full disclosures, could anyone ever imagine that State Bank of India can come to 150 rupees? What kind of value are we talking about? But if you are purely a value investor and only looking and analyzing the balance sheet every day based on the value, I don't know how cheap it can become. Sometimes it can be surprising. Then you have to have the time frame. Okay, I bought a value. I'm willing to sit for 10 years till the time the market discovers. And sometimes market may take even 3 years or 5 years or 7 years. So what I'm saying is, you identify a value, but then you have to be able to have a clear triggers that this A, B, C, D is there, which will help me unlock that value. These are the triggers which I'm looking for a stock which has a lot of value.
Okay, Madhu, there are a couple of interesting topics that I want to discuss with you, especially from your journey about the big investment decisions you made and you carried, and a couple of regrets that you may have had, and what lessons investors can take from that. But all of that will happen after this short break. Welcome back. Well, still with us is market veteran Madhu Kela in our special show CNBC TV 18 Investment Guide. Now, Madhu has been giving us some anecdotes from his own investment career and the things that stood out. Madhu, from the conversation that I had with you, a couple of interesting views on Symphony and Nestle. How do you decide that you want to stick to companies which are going through tough times, especially companies like Symphony? What gives you that conviction? If there are any investment lessons in that?
So, Anuj, this was a big miss of my life. We analyzed this company and, we thought that we will be able to time it properly at some point of time, because, the next 2 quarters or 3 quarters are going to be weak. And after that, the story is going to start. We met the management, visited Ahmedabad multiple number of times, and we were quite convinced about it. But, somehow, it always looked expensive. So when you say that, this was one of the big miss. Similarly, Nestle also, I don't think we could play it as big a manner as we played a lot of our high conviction other stories. So one of the thing about markets is, Anuj, when you identify that it is a really outsized and large opportunity, do not commit a mistake of timing it, because every investor in the world is looking at the same parameter. Every investor in the world is always looking at the same companies, and sometimes the horizon of an investor versus you could be very different. So in my life, I have seen many a times trying to time the entry in some of these large, beautiful investment ideas has costed me a lot.
Very interesting. So let me ask you the reverse. In fact, that's also a question that one of our viewers has. We will just put it up out there. Basically, you know, the exit. You mentioned one shouldn't make the mistake of timing the entry. What about exits, Madhu? Because let's say, you know, talk about great companies of the 2003 to 8 run, you know, the JP Associates or the Unitex. They became multi-baggers, but if one didn't exit at the right time, then it would be perhaps not that great.
Surbhi, there are hundreds of books written on how to buy and what to buy. I have seen very few books in the markets on how to sell. Trust me. And so selling is a very, very difficult art. Sometimes, you know, you can be too early, sometimes you could be too late. So there are no fixed formulas of selling. But like you said about 2008, market gave you ample time to understand that you know the risk aversion after 2008 had started. And let me tell you, this was one of the big mistakes which we made in our Reliance Mutual Fund days. Having realized that the euphoria between 2003 and 2008 is over, we were still hoping against the hope that some of these companies will still bounce back. While the market had already given its verdict that it wants to now go for quality, it wants to go for high ROE, it wants to go for governance, because we were coming from that big investment phase. So, you know, market will give you ample opportunity to understand that things are not working out. Whether it is a price movement, whether it is the euphoria, whether it is the issues which are coming out in the public sector. Can you imagine that way back in those days, we actually did a special fund which was only catered to investing in natural resources. So, you know, those euphoric signs are visible in any company or a stock when that happens. And it, however much I want to explain to you, it will only come with experience. That is the time. And sometimes it will happen that you sell a particular stock and you will look like a fool that stock will go up another 30%. But that is the time you have to have that conviction and maybe do the selling in a staggered manner from case to case basis. But timing to sell is very difficult. Sometimes you may confuse risk versus volatility. Sometimes volatility may confuse you that it is a real risk in a particular company. Like this is what happens in great companies. We have seen so many times, if you look at the Kotak Mahindra Bank example itself, I have seen Kotak Bank fall 50%, maybe 5-7 times in the last 10-15 years. But that is the volatility in a quality company.
Okay, fair point. Madhu, the last topic, I say that don't back the horse, but the jockey behind it. So the quality of entrepreneur, that's something that you always give great importance to. I think the example that you used to give was of Murali Divi, right?
Yes.
That was a great example. But anything else that you can remember, and that's something that investors should look at when looking at the entrepreneurs?
See, many a times, Anuj, again, judging in entrepreneur in our early days, what we saw was the only passion, the hunger in the entrepreneur, how big he wants to do. But over the years, we have also understood that, yes, the passion is very important, the hunger is very important. At the same time, what is important is the capital allocation. At the same time, what is important is their attitude towards minority shareholder. At the same time, what is important is the risk containment. So if you look at the real leaders who have really made a difference, and trust me, Anuj, whether it is a country or whether it is a state or whether it is a company or whether it is a family, the leader makes a lot of difference, and I always believe it. Now, whether you look at the example of HDFC or whether you look at the example of Kotak Mahindra Bank or whether you look up innumerous examples, let's take example of Reliance only. The difference is the leadership of these companies and how they are able to steer through the crisis and how they are able to come up much stronger every time the crisis erupts. So I continue to give a lot of importance to the management, a lot of importance to the management team. My version has got slightly modified over the years.
Okay, well, on that note, unfortunately, I think we are almost completely out of time. Madhu, we would have loved to gone on chatting. We'll probably call you back after a couple of weeks or so, because the anecdotes have been very, very helpful. Thank you very much indeed for joining in and enlightening our viewers with your experiences and some of those very important
Thank you. This was rather short. Thank you.
Yes,
Anuj, there you have it. I think there's so much of, rich wealth of learnings, right? I mean, when you speak to people who've been in the market for 20, 30 years.
I did a webinar with Madhu, and we went for almost 3 hours. So, and I can understand that this was short. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, we will have to take your leave, but thank you very much. That's it on this week's edition of the CNBC TV 18 Investment Guide. We will see you again next week.